Hey everyone, this is Jessica Winter Martin here, and I thought I would just do a really quick video on how to make a notebook with NotebookLM, since I'm trying to share the feature of jobs report information in NotebookLM, and as we all know, it's super long. So what we're going to do is we're going to go start with the actual website. And so what I have here for context is a notebook I already made. And I already did this notebook. I wanted to share it with people, and I already have it shared with quite a few people, but I can't make it just public, at least from what I understand. So I wanted to show you guys I have already some notes made on it, which I love. It gives you notes about the documents, everything you need to know, makes your life so much easier trying to read this huge document. I even made a 34
Welcome
minute
to our deep dive. Today we're tackling the World Economic Forum's
I made a big podcast for it, so it's a great study tool. But again, if you don't have access to mine, let me show you how to make one yourself. So I have another Gmail account here, which I have not done any notebooks on. So for shiggles, let's create a notebook. So you're going to go to notebooklm.google on whatever account you're in. You can do this on your phone. You just have to go into Gmail, into Chrome and do this there, and then like sign in or pick whichever account you're going to use. So do keep that in mind, since you just have to do it on your Safari or whatever browser on your phone. But if we're going to do this in a way, well, y'all want to see that. So if we're going to do this in a way where you can actually see what I'm doing. And so first we start with a notebook. Then you're going to go click on source. Now you can choose to upload the sources and add the website. Now I already have this source somewhere. So I'm going to find where I have this document. I might have deleted it already because it's really big. Oh, here it is. So I already have the World Economic Forum jobs report. That's because right here on the website, as you can see, it says download PDF. So you can download the feature of jobs report. So while it adds that source, I'm also going to go ahead and add the website itself. And what I'm going to do as well, I'm actually going to make this one a bit better than the other one I made. So once again, this is the old one I made, which has the exact same information in it. So since this report has been out now for a few days, I'm pretty sure somebody on YouTube is talking about it. So we're going to go to YouTube, and we're just going to type in Future of Jobs Reports 2025. There we go. And we're going to look for one or two like long videos. So we got one right here. Perfect. Copy link address. I don't need to watch it. I'm just going to add the YouTube links right here. Bam. And I really prefer a long video. I don't really like to do short videos that much, but it works. So I'm just doing this more for the example for you guys. Um, because I more look for somebody who's doing a 20-minute, hour-long deep dive, right? Um, this one looks nice. So I actually like that it only has 1,000 views. This Artificial Intelligence Show podcast. I might just go check them out. So we're just going to go ahead and copy that link, copy the address, and upload it here to YouTube. And just like that, for the most part, ooh, look at that one, research journalist. They look legit, and I somehow I trust sources more the fewer views they have sometimes, because I feel like those little small channels try really hard, and they did a 20-minute video. So that's what I'm really looking for. I'm looking for 20-minute videos. It came out about a month ago, a couple weeks ago, right? So there should, unless it's a big channel, but nobody's really done the 1 hour deep dive. Here's a good one. A 30-minute deep dive, and bippity boppity. So we're going to copy that address one more again. Now remember, we could add 50 sources on the regular account, and we're looking again for anything referencing the future jobs report. Nice, an hour-long discussion. That's exactly what I want here. And the reason why I like to add YouTubes as well, so I already have another one that's just the source data, but this one I'm going to add to YouTube because it gives you personal analysis and perspective that you're not going to get from, yeah, you're not going to get that from the actual report itself. You have to really ask that question. So there we go. So I'm going to consider this done, and I'm going to compare what we get from the original. So you guys should be able to see. Yeah, right about here, y'all can see this is the original one. And you see I got a 34-minute podcast, and I don't remember the instructions, but I can download it, whatever. Um, and I hear my notes, right? Key findings, study guide. And that's what I love about using NotebookLM. It gives me a study guide with questions, gives me answers, it gives me key terms to look at, to think about, and key findings, right? Bam. So now we're going to do the exact same thing here. I'm just going to click study guide, briefing document, fact, timeline. Just go ahead and give those to me without even getting there, okay? I don't even remember, I don't even think I asked any questions at this one yet. I really just looked at the overview and I was done. I was pretty happy with that because I'd already seen other overviews. And just like that, we already got the overviews. In a few seconds, we're done. So there we go, future of jobs. Here's the 8-question fact. What are major trends? AI. Major skills? AI. Decreasing skills, manual stuff, right? What jobs? What is the growth? AI growth, data skills, sustainability, digital and business analysis, declining, all that other basic stuff. So bam, in a few seconds we just got everything, and now I'm going to go ahead and customize. So I'm going to say focus on what jobs are going out. File. Focus on what jobs are coming in. Focus on how can't spell, how this will impact the global job market and USA job market / economy, and focus on what can the everyday person do to reduce the negative impact of change and be on top of the new job situation, right? So I'm saying that because I know a little bit what's going to say. And you only get 500 characters right here. So that's one thing worth noting. I've used quite a few notebooks. Your standard thing is going to give you 500 characters, so do be mindful of that. And there we go. Now I can ask questions. I want to ask one question to both. I am an AI consultant. How safe is my career? How much can I expect to make working in the USA? There's a question. I'm just going to go ahead and copy paste that exact same question to the other one. And we're just going to see what difference it really gives us in the data based upon how quickly we got a response, based upon the different, what it's trained on. Because the original one I'm working with here is only trained on the actual data, the specific report, and nothing but the report. This one is trained, as you can see, on the report, plus a whole bunch of analyses on the report, which in theory shouldn't make a difference, but I just want to see what and how any difference it makes to have, what's what I'm looking for? The additional sources. So I'm going to try and move this where y'all can see it. And then where I'm on the screen taking up some space. It looks like about where. That was a good spot. Let's move it right out there. So looking at the difference here, I don't see much of one. I don't take the same response. Right, high demand, AI skills, job growth, specific roles in demand. These more or less look the same. There's definitely some clear differences here. General skills for AI salary expectations. So these, I'm guessing I'm seeing the bigger difference is, actually I'm not, this one's just different. I think if I had rerun these responses, I would have gotten the same response from either of them eventually. So, well, okay, there we go. I'm happy with these. And the nice thing about these two is that if you save these notes for other people, I'm waiting for the new podcast to open up for you guys. But the cool thing is I've done this with like my team. If you're able to save and share these notes with other people, they can see all that you can see. They just can view. They can't really ask questions. But it's useful because if you ask a few questions and you make a few notes, So I did that. I did one for hospitality industry, right? Hospitality transformation. So I'll ask that here. Let's see if I still I did. Um, how will the hospitality industry change by 2030? And what can someone in hospitality do? I cannot spell right now. I'm an excellent speller. I just have moments. Um, to prepare for 2030 and stay in their field if possible. And that's a specific question. I got a friend of mine who works in hospitality, and I love her, so I don't want her to lose her job. I keep warning her. Everybody wants to work with me in AI. They're tripping. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and save that automatically off the rip. So here we go. We got how hospitality is gonna change, cost of living, social issues are gonna shape the accommodation industry. Digitization is issue, right? Uncertainty, human tech collab, key skills is going to be going in AI and creative thinking. Education trainer sector will be more important. Lifelong learning, workforce strategies. Look at that. Now, what's the response we got on this side? Basically the exact same thing, right? Rising costs, digitization. This one talks about human reliance differently, talent availability concerns. So, interestingly enough, how to prepare to stay in the field. Huh. I like both of these answers. A little different. They're different. They're not. This one's not bigger. It's just a bigger portion of the screen. So they're just different answers, but they're basically saying the same thing: talent management, talent shortages, and considerations and skill gaps, upskilling. So there you go. This is how you use. This is how I use Notebook. I see. I did try to share it with some people I wasn't able to share, so I'm sharing this video. I'm gonna pop that on YouTube. That's my Black Girl in AI, which is my band. I'm a Black Girl in AI, and I like to help y'all how to do stuff. And why you should use this, why I really like this, especially as a way to give to other people, as from a teaching standpoint, as an educator, and as a person who trains other on things in AI, is because when you share this with people, they can go to the source. Um, they can they can get summary of the source, the key topics, and usually they can watch the video. And they get the full, however long it is, transcript right here. So then when you go to the actual report itself, right, which is, about a month old, so it tells, again, updates. Now this was going to give you the general concepts, right, because you really don't need to actually obviously reread the entire report right here, right? So this is unnecessary. So something to think about. Like, here's the actual future jobs report, right? And the source guide basically just is, yeah, okay, here's what's happening. And of course now, because it did copy the entire transcript, but didn't get the pictures or anything. So, and you are able to click the source and rename the source. You can do things like, I don't even know what you, oh, when you select the sources, it determines which ones it uses. So if you decide, you know what, I don't want to use these YouTube videos, but I don't want to delete them, you could just unclick them. And then when it starts to make decisions and answers your questions, it will only go off the sources you allow it to use. So now I can just pair it back to the two sources, or I can click them all. And again, here it is again, you can watch the YouTube video from here, copy the link, which I really like, and you can usually do like things like the PDF. Let's see. You usually are able to download it from here as well. And this has been a means, or at least it gives you a link on how to get it. This has been a means that some of us have used in other places to help share the information itself. So by just sharing the book, you end up sharing the source because they can download the source from the book. And there you go. And look at that. We got a 15 minutes. Now that's interesting. It's only 15 minutes. My other one was 34. So maybe that's the impact of the YouTube videos. And let's hear what we
So
got.
you want to know what jobs are going out of style, what's coming in hot, and how to navigate this whole shifting job market, huh?
Sounds like you're thinking ahead.
Well, we've got a fascinating deep dive for you today. We
You guys
dug
can hear that.
deep into the 2025 Future of Jobs report from the World Economic Forum.
It's like a crystal ball for the global workforce.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we've got some insights from LinkedIn and career experts to round things out. So first up, the big picture. This report predicts a whopping 78 million new jobs globally in the next 5 years.
It is exciting, but it's not just about more jobs. It's about different jobs. It's like a giant game of musical chairs. Some seats are disappearing while new ones are popping up.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
So what jobs are we saying goodbye to?
Well, the report specifically calls out clerical and secretarial roles as being on the decline.
Right.
Think cashiers, ticket clerks, administrative assistants, those kinds
So to me, that's the best part. And another thing too is I can interact with it. So
of
watch
jobs.
this.
That makes sense.
Okay. Hey,
All right, so you want to know what... Hey there. You want to share
yeah,
your thoughts on this?
I did. I was just curious. What can you tell me if I work in the hospitality industry and I want to stay in hospitality? What should I do to make sure that I still have my career in 2030?
That's a great question, and it's fantastic you're thinking proactively.
Yeah, let's unpack that for you.
From what we've seen in the reports, the hospitality industry is definitely going through some shifts.
But it's not all doom and gloom. Definitely not.
Right, there's still a demand for
So
in-person
you see, I just
experiences.
actually
So
added
if you're
myself to
committed
the
to staying in
conversation.
hospitality, that's totally
Hang
doable.
on.
One key
So you
thing is
see,
to
so I just added myself to the conversation and asked a question of it in real time, and it gave me the answer. And I could just download this conversation. So I'm gonna let it continue for a brief moment, and then I'm gonna ask another question.
focus on those human skills.
Yeah, like we said, things like communication and problem solving are going to be essential.
Think about, oh yeah,
So what about things like manufacturing then? Like what about manufacturing and farming and agriculture and factory work? Like how is that going to change, especially in the United States? Like what's going to happen for us here?
That's a really important question, and it's great you're thinking about those crucial industries.
Okay, let's unpack this.
The reports we've been looking at definitely show some big changes coming to manufacturing and agriculture, especially in the U.S.
It's not like it's going away, but the nature
So notice how like it's immediately responding to what I have to say, right? This app is immediately responding to my questions, and it's creating a two-person podcast that sounds like it belongs in NPR based upon what I'm saying. So the question I'm asking, and it's answering my questions. And again, you can just download this and keep it. You can also delete the old one. So I could delete this. I could download this audio overview. I could share it with you guys. Maybe I'll do that. And I could just delete it and generate another one. So that's the cool thing.
of the work is changing a lot.
Exactly. So let's think about manufacturing first.
Okay, so what's the big picture there?
Well, automation is a major factor, but it's not just about robots replacing humans.
So I hope you guys can see like the real value of using NotebookLM. You get, I believe, let me just give you the answers here. Yeah, okay. So I know you get plenty of notebooks. I know you get lots. So I know there's a lot of good guides here. It's actually been out for a hot minute, but it's a lot of updates that have happened really recently. Like it's been out since a good little minute. So one thing about the notebooks is that you got audio sources. It's not that wasn't helpful at all. I'm just going to go to NotebookLM website. It will tell me. Here you go, NotebookLM. So you can upload your sources, PDFs, YouTube files, docs, all that kind of stuff. It gives you quick insights. You can adjust the source. And then what I do like too, let me show you this piece, that when you when you go to like where you want to get this from, you can click the number of the source. It'll actually point to where it got that information and highlight it for you. So I'm going to go out of here for a second. But it'll actually point to, so when you say, what it says like here, ethical considerations. Okay, well, this one we got from the video. So now you know that one came from the video. This one came from another video, right? And it highlights where it got that information from. So if you're wondering if it's using the right source, if you don't like the source it's using, if you notice a certain kind of information always seems to come from a certain source, or in this case, right, two sources, it cites the same source twice or two sources, that it's really useful for you as from a research standpoint to figure, so you can know exactly where the information is coming from, because it points to where in the transcripts, in the case of the videos or audios, and where in the text it got the information from in case of the website or in the case of the actual text document. Another nice thing I like about using notebooks, and I would point to a different one I made in my other account. Let me see a couple of these. So one I like to use, I mean, obviously I have a lot of notebooks here. I've made one about generative AI because I'm doing that class. And what's cool about this one is that you can connect to Google Documents. And what's really useful about that for me is these are not my Google Docs. So when someone shares, when somebody else owns a document, for example, the creator of this generative AI course, he created these two Google Documents for those in the class. And so like this one. So what's useful for me about this is that I get to look at this and get so much information, and he can also update it in real time. So he shares the Google Doc with me. I just add it to my drive. Then through this, when you're adding a source, you can go into your Google Docs or Google Slides. So I can go into my Google Docs and I can find shared with me, and here's the two documents from the boot camp, right? I did this myself. Well, this is a document I made. So for one of my people on my team, she is new to marketing. So I made her digital marketing fundamentals. And it's based upon this one document, which is a massive 900-page Google Doc I made 2 years ago before I even knew about NotebookLM, just to collect the research. I don't know if you can see that, but just to collect the research that I did from this digital marketing course. So I copied, it was an online course, I copied every single piece of information from that course into this one 900-page Google Doc, and then I'm able to upload it here. And now she has access to this. She can look at the study guide, the facts, the briefing, the timelines. I can ask questions. And then, so she has access to this, right? I shared it with her right there. And she can now, when she comes to this, she can look and find all of this on here. So she can get, all this together. There we go. Um, so there we are. So I asked a couple questions. Great. And now, look, it doesn't tell you any information about avatars. Great. I never used the word avatar in that class. We talked about personas. Okay. And this helps me, this is useful for her. So I use these terms, persona, avatar. I talk about marketing a lot with her. She's literally like, what is the point? I don't get it. And I'm like, girl, you didn't take a marketing class. So there we go. So I can make this information available to her. She can look at it as in this kind of account, she can see everything I can see. So including the studio, the chat, and the sources. And that's something to keep in mind, because if you want to use it as a studying device, then you may want to keep that. You may want to keep that in mind, because things like your lesson plan, that's just the timeline. I'm looking for my lesson plan. Maybe I didn't make one. I'll make one then. We'll call that a briefing doc. So oftentimes when it makes a briefing doc, it actually makes, oh, there's a study guide right there. Boom. So it generates this for me in a few seconds to have an answer. And this is useful for a teaching standpoint. When you get the facts and the study guide, briefing documents, right? Again, these are so useful because you can look and say, great, like what do I need to know? As a teacher, obviously you can teach, because now you have a little quiz. So you can give your students the access to this information and make a quiz. You make an answer key. And what's good to note too is, again, this version has access to a lot more sources. So if I decide I don't want to make a study guide based upon these stupid YouTube videos, right? They're just there for reference and for more perspective. I want to make a study guide based on just the Future of Jobs report itself. Well, I was asked to make another one. I just undid all of these sources, so only had the two sources I like, and now it's generating a study guide for me based upon just the future job report. Same thing here. I just made another study guide, and here is a study briefing, quotes, questions, all that stuff. Boom, right in one space. Here we go, study guide and key concepts. So now I have a study guide that's only based upon the exact report itself. It gives me questions, it gives me quiz questions, it gives me quiz answers, it gives me essay questions, and of course your glossary of terms. So I hope that was very helpful to you all to learn how to quickly make a notebook, how to use your notebook, and all different kinds of notebooks you can make. As you can see on this account, I have, what's that, 19, sorry, 16. I got 16, and I made one for like each of the Hormozis. I love the Hormozis. So whenever I see YouTube videos about them, so this is a little class I'm gonna do tomorrow. I'm gonna do a little collaboration class about studying Sorry to Bother You with Boots, with the writer, and then Boots Riley, and then so that's why I made all the things. I asked a lot of questions, and I got the analysis here for me to look at. I did ones on Hormozis. Whenever I see their YouTube videos pop up, I often have a few of them hanging out over here too. So I started to consolidate my tabs by putting their videos here, and then now I can ask, tell me about Alex Hormozi. What is he about? Tell me about leveraging sales. Maybe give me a briefing document. And I put I could ask questions in here. I could also upload his entire podcast, or not his entire podcast, but I could probably put a few good episodes of his podcast up here. I get 50 sources. So I don't have unlimited sources. I've used only 15. So I've got plenty more sources to add in here. And that's the way I can study through the Alex Hormozi. So it's different from just making like that on the Mozy GPT, which there is one. The Mozy GPT, I still got to ask it questions, and it doesn't just provide automatic information. Notebook is different because it's designed to be a study guide. It's designed to be a study tool, so it automatically generates facts, study guides, briefing documents, timelines. You can add your answers to your questions as notes, and you can also generate one AI podcast at a time. But what's nice here is that you can create it, download it, delete it, do a new one. You can customize the instructions. Okay? Hope that's been helpful. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.